WPGC 95.5, Joe Clair Morning Show, and we are joined, Sonny, by new royalty. I'm going to go ahead and say, I'm going to go ahead and dub it. Janelle Monáe is in the building. Woo! Good morning. Good to see you. Thank you for coming. Good to have you.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
You are quite a presence these days. You're quite a, you've reached a mark where the thought of you coming has a lot of weight. You've reached that mark. Everybody was buzzing around here.
Aww.
You see how many people are in here right now and the whole thing. You know, is this what you expected of this life?
Man, listen, I'm just so thankful to be here. I love being in D.C. I love performing here, and to release this album and have the support that I have had over these past few days from people here and you guys talking to me. It's nothing I take for granted. So
yeah,
I'm enjoying the journey.
We just announced your tour,
yes.
Dirty Computer Tour, and we've been giving away tickets all week, and people are really, really excited, looking forward to it. Because you're going to be performing at the Anthem, which is a brand new venue that just opened on the water. So everyone's always excited to go there now, and you're like one of the first people to start.
It's a big deal.
Well, that's fantastic. I'm excited. I'm ready.
But do those words give you any concern or apprehension when they say, hey, you're a big deal now?
No. I mean, listen, I wrote a song called Tightrope, and it was about, you can't get too high, you can't get too low, you got to stay very balanced.
Right.
And I've tried my best to remain very balanced in this, because I've seen stories where people, have gotten very full of themselves and believe the hype, and I personally just don't feel comfortable moving in that way. And it's about a journey. It's never been about climbing to the top of the mountain and staying there. I hear it's lonely anyway.
Got you. But you create the hype, your outward expression.
You think so?
Well, I don't think it's an intentional thing, but any artist who, once you take it out of your bedroom and you put it up for the public's consumption, it's up to whatever the public does. In 2018, hype is hype.
Yeah.
So how do you? And you're creating a machine. How do you separate yourself?
I think I just try to lead with my heart. With all my projects, I try to be as vulnerable, as honest, as open about, my life and where I am at that time. And with this album in particular, my biggest, ask was to make sure that it reached the people that it was supposed to reach. When you think about this concept, dirty computer, dirty computers are the marginalized. Those within the LGBTQIA community, minorities, Black folks, women, immigrants. I can go on and on and on. Mm-hmm. And what does that mean for society to tell these marginalized people that you need to be cleansed, you need to conform, you're not good enough? And so what I wanted to do was create a project from what people call a visual album. I call it an emotion picture and an album combined. I wanted to create something they can feel celebrated by when they listen to it, when they watch it, that they see themselves, they hear themselves, and they feel like, this is a moment for us to continue to celebrate ourselves and embrace the things that make us unique, even if it makes others uncomfortable.
Yeah. And, we talked about this in the studio before you got here, and I was telling them how you are, especially after your latest interview, you came out, you said, I'm proud to be, young, Black woman and queer woman, or however you want to label me, I'm just going to be myself. And it's important for just young people in general to live their authentic, real life, be themselves and be okay with who they are. And I think that you saying that means a lot to your fans to just live that life of just who they are truly.
I pray.
Yeah.
I pray, and I just think everything is about timing.
Mm-hmm.
I think that nobody should feel pressured to talk about their life until they're ready, and I think for me, it was a lot at stake. I think it was important for me to be clear, because representation does matter. And especially in our industry, and especially when you have suicide rates going up because people are not accepted in their families, they haven't accepted themselves. And, I just look at this as part of my purpose. Yeah.
It's a beautiful purpose. This album, this new album is, for me, the production through the roof, messaging, on point, timely. I think that's the thing that I got from you, is that it was timely it was poignant, and it was you hit the right tone.
Thank you.
For now. And the right tone is actually the future tone because you're an artist and people look for you to be cutting edge. So you're actually, for me, when I listened, I was like, okay, Janelle's up here where she usually stays. But it was also different because I heard R&B. You got love from the R&B charts, pop charts. It's going across genres and everything else. The hip hop record was the one that caught me, so I thought this was about to be a hip hop album.
Yeah, I mean, the important thing that I feel like, I'll speak for myself, when I talk to my other artist friends, I think we just want to be free in expressing ourselves. We don't want to be, one side of ourselves every album. We want to be able to give you all of us, as complex as we are, as complicated as we are, as, genre loving as we are. I mean, I just believe in either soul music, and that comes from your heart. What feels authentic to you, and then you do that. And so I'm happy to have that support. Yeah.
How is the record industry accepting that approach? Because that used to be a no-no. It used to be stick to your lane, stick to what the people know. Look, I don't want to hear no rock song on a hip hop album. That used to be a no-no, a big one.
I hear that. I hear that all the time, and people say, like, but I think we're moving in a different direction. You have streaming now. You have people creating their playlists. You know what I'm saying? Like, one of your songs can be on someone's playlist, and it's getting spins and spins and spins and getting to the people. I think that people just, again, they gravitate. I don't want to speak for everybody, but I tend to gravitate towards authenticity, something that moves me. I either love it or I don't. I'm able to see the beauty in every genre. It just has to resonate with me personally, and I hope, that I'm communicating effectively and the music is reaching who it needs to reach.
I want to talk about, and I know you've seen everything that's been happening for the past couple of days with Kanye and the tweets and all of this, and not to even go into Kanye specifically, but just having a responsibility as an artist, and I think that's what a lot of people were disappointed with that situation was when you have such a huge platform and so many people believe in you and listen to you, saying things or aligning yourself with things that are so crazy nowadays. It's just like having that responsibility as an artist to the world and to your fans, because that you speaking out, even what we just talked about, influences a lot of people. So it's just, it's mind blowing for us to see some artists. It's just like, wow, how can you get disappointed in that? Just your thoughts on that.
Sure. Well, I spoke on this before, but I want to preface this by saying, Kanye has absolutely inspired me as an artist. Mm-hmm. I've had the opportunity to meet him and tell him that. I don't know what his plan is, but just listening, I don't even know what has happened over the couple days, but I do, from last week when he mentioned this whole concept of free thinking. And here's a free thought. I'm a free thinker. I have no problem with thinking freely. If my free thoughts, however, are rooted or at the expense of the oppressed, I can't support it. Mm-hmm. I won't say those things because those free thoughts turn into laws. Those free thoughts turn into regulations that oppress, people that I love and I care about, that don't have the luxury of hiding in their mansion or, tuning out the world. These are people who are affected by the divisiveness that number 45 has caused. So to align myself, or for any artist to align themselves with an oppressive person, is very dangerous. I mean, slave masters also thought freely, and we see where that got us.
Well, specifically, he said that 2 days ago. He said that 400 years of slavery was a choice because he said 400 years, all of y'all, that was a choice.
Yeah.
That's a quote.
I think that it's important for everyone to educate themselves. And I think once he gets further educated, it's not my job, but I know he has internet. I know he, has teachers around him that he can access. I'm sure. I think that is deeply insensitive. It's disrespectful to our ancestors to think that they would willfully want to be in shackles or to be ripped apart from their families. He has to educate himself a little bit more. And I respect, his voice, but I don't support it. I don't support what he's saying.
You have a song on this album called Django Jane. I love that record.
Thank you.
I mean, I'm a hip hop head, so first when I heard you spit the first full bars,
yeah,
I was like, Janelle play too much. And then the rest of it was just, if I can, a hip hop study in Black excellence. It was, I heard, if I may, I heard my mom and them speaking. I heard my daddy. I heard old civil rights cats speaking, but I also heard my college professors. I heard all those people in that rhyme that you did.
Wow.
And it was impressive. Impressive enough that it's getting spins. Like, Janelle Monáe making a hip hop song might seem like a novelty, but it was actually a banging novelty.
Wow, thank you.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, thank you. I mean, if you listen to my past works, I've absolutely have used hip hop and as a tool, as a muscle.
Right.
I've done that throughout my albums, but I think it was important for me to out the gate, when it was time to announce this project and put out music, to come out with Django Jane, so you understand that this album is through the lens of a Black, young African-American woman. It's the sting of what it feels like to be called a bitch for the first time by a man. It's the sting of what it feels like for your rights to be trampled on by those in the position of power. It's the sting of feeling like the people that you love are deeply affected by the abusers of power. We can walk in a Starbucks and because of the color of our skin, be pushed out and be looked at as a threat. Sandra Bland, Rakia Boyd, I can go on and on in terms of the Black women who have been at the abuse of power and have not made it. So for me, I was deeply emotional recording that song. That came from my heart. Strip away Janelle Monáe, the artist. Again, I'm a young Black queer woman in America, and I wanted the mic, and I that is me when I have the mic. When you give me a mic,
and we love you for it.
Yeah, we love you for it, because that's what it sounded like. I was like, that's a beat and a rhyme. Production can go all over. That was a beat and a rhyme, and I was like, all right, she killing that. She did that on y'all. Rest of y'all rappers, step your game up. Get your bars up.
That means a lot coming from you. Thank you.
Oh, you are too welcome. I have to ask you about the vagina pants.
Yes.
Listen,
I saw that in the picture.
I
the
hear
vagina pants.
There's an article. I don't know if you see the article. There's an article that says that you may mass produce these.
Well,
vagina pants.
Listen, you know what? Those pants are intricate to make. I am trying to work with the designer to figure out how to mass produce them, because everybody, which is awesome, they're asking me about them. In particular, women are asking me about them. And I just want to say, like, some people call them the vagina pants. Some people also call them flowers. Some people call them vulva pants.
The vulva pants. I can go for that.
Right?
I don't have a problem with that at all.
Yeah,
Speaking
so
as a male who thinks he's woke, the vulva pants I don't have a problem with. We can call them the flower pants. Just wear them. I just want my wife to come on in the house.
You were so funny.
From wherever she been at. Just go on, be out with your pants, and come on in with the pants on.
But you know what? I do want to say this. If you look at the video, all the pants, no one pant is alike. They're different. There are some women who don't have on the pants, because, we can talk further about this, but I don't believe that you need to have a vulva or a vagina to be a woman. And I want it to be as inclusive as possible. Obviously we come in many different shapes, sizes. I could not get everybody in the video, but I wanted it to be clear that this is a woman's empowerment song. It's inclusive, and I wanted, in particular, Black women to feel celebrated when they watch this. Women of color to see themselves and despite what the world may tell you about who you are and the stereotypes and the images of us being these angry, women who, are so much more than that. I wanted them to have the visualization of us coming together as our unique selves and creating magic when we're all in one room.
How do you? I have a question about that then. How do you think the world keeps missing the point for the strong Black woman? I bring this up because I grew up in a house with a strong Black woman, and I watched my mother do this walk in the 70s and the 80s, and her generation saying, hopefully our daughters won't have to keep screaming with this bullhorn that we are here and we supposed to be valued at this level.
Right.
And I watched her do that walk, and then I watched my sister have to go through that walk, and now I'm watching it again where we have to keep staying on this bullhorn. What's the disconnect? What is America's disconnect?
Well, I think that I'm going to start with this, because I can't, speak on behalf of every black woman. Every black woman might not feel how I'm feeling. I feel like there's a lot of listening to clap back or to be defensive, but there's not enough listening to understand. And I think there's a difference. If I already have my mind made up and I feel uncomfortable with the way that, a black woman is telling me she's feeling or, talking about her reality to somebody who's more privileged, then we're not going to get anywhere. So I would first start by saying those who are privileged in this country, traditionally and historically, should take the time to not listen to clap back or listen to respond, but listen to understand. Because I think through understanding comes empathy. Through empathy, hopefully, comes unity. Through unity, love, and so on and so forth. And change, absolutely.
Well, I'm so happy that you stopped by. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't talk about Prince and you. Okay, so I listened to this album, and please don't kill me. I proclaimed to be a huge Prince fan, but the last album that I bought had to be maybe like Rave to the Joy Fantastic, the double. I bought that. And so that's kind of where I got off the Prince train. I'm a big hip hop head. And then I listened to your album, right? And all of a sudden, I'm like, I swear, Janelle, it took me right back to, had to be 90-something. And in the variety of what I heard, like the production was stellar, messages are stellar, all of that is stellar. But the variety of things that I heard was what I was starting to hear from him. Am I correct in assuming that there was that big of an influence from him, or am I just hearing the Janelle Monáe's maturation?
Well, Prince, it's a little difficult for me to talk about him because Prince was a mentor to me. Gotcha. And in fact, he was on my last album, Electric Lady. We did a song called Giving Them What They Love. And we were very close to the point where he was the first person to have my first album, The Arcandroid. And so when I was working on this project, we would talk all the time.
Prince was the first person to have your first album?
He was, yeah. Yeah, he sure was. I gave it to him.
Do you tell everybody? Do you walk around? I would walk around with a sign.
Right.
No, I don't. And he was like that too. Like he gave, advice and, musical things that he to artists, not just myself. But he was quiet about it. He didn't want a lot of people to know about his giving spirit. I mean, up until when he passed on, I had no clue about the philanthropy that he had done. And he was he gave without expectation and didn't want a lot of people to know that. So out of respect for our relationship, I won't go into detail about his involvement. But I will say Prince has inspired me since I've been a little girl. He's also scared me too, because I was really, really scared watching videos like Kiss and like his eyes. It was just something so free, about him that I just had never seen in another artist. And I will say that as incredible as he was as an artist, as a performer, as a guitarist, he was even more incredible, in my opinion, off stage. He never allowed his mystery to get in the way of his mentorship. And for that, I'm thankful.
We can sit and talk about Prince.
I know.
Janelle Monáe, everybody, I thank you so much for stopping in. You're going to be at Anthem.
She's coming back.
Yes.
July
what
20th.
Date am I? July 20th.
July 20th.
July 20th. That thing is going to be packed and sold out.
Fun. Hell yeah.
This album is stellar. Everybody go pick that up. She's got millions and millions and millions of downloads and streams and views and everything else. I mean, your stats are through the roof.
I hope.
I'm sorry. Look. I'm sorry. Before I let you go, no. There's something else I have to talk to you about. My wife is an engineer.
Oh, beautiful.
My wife is a cybersecurity engineer. So
Beautiful.
I have a daughter, but I'm a creative, and I have a daughter. And my daughter and my son swear by Hidden Figures. Okay?
Yes.
So Hidden Figures, they swear by it. As far as they're concerned, it's not a big deal movie for them. It's just one of the movies that they're watching, one of their favorites.
Yeah.
They don't understand the political ramifications. The history for them is awe-inspiring. They're starting to come into the realization that the minorities had these things were held back or whatever.
Yeah.
However, Mary inspired my daughter in a way that I hadn't seen a character sort of inspired. She loved Tiana. Tiana's her favorite princess. There's only Tiana. The rest of them don't exist as far as Tiana's concerned.
Yeah.
But now at 8 or 7 years old, when she saw the movie, the fighting spirit that Mary had, I said, I'm interviewing Janelle Monáe. She said, the one that went to court. And I had no idea what she was talking about. I was like, what are you talking about? She's like, she went to court. I was like, no, she didn't go to court. She has a new album. She's like, no, she went to court in the movie. Hello, Daddy. And I was like, what are you talking? Oh, and then I was like, oh, you mean Mary? And then,
yeah, she's so cute.
That's what you mean for her.
Wow.
That's what you mean for a bunch of young ladies now, young girls, little girls.
Wow,
black girls.
That made my whole day. What's her name?
Nia.
Nia. Hi, Nia.
My purpose.
You are so amazing, and I'm so honored that you love the character who was a real life hero, Miss Mary Jackson. That means the world. She didn't give up. When people told her she couldn't be an engineer, she said, no, yes, I can. When her family didn't believe in her, she said, yes, I will. And she did it. She was responsible for getting the first astronaut, along with Katherine Johnson, Dorothy Vaughan, and the other women at NASA during that era. They were all responsible for getting our first American astronaut into space. They're American heroes, and you can be an American hero, too. So,
but we heard that the TV series, is that in the works?
I heard a little bit about it. I meant to reach out, to everybody to see. But if that's the case, absolutely, there needs to be a curriculum in school.
Yeah.
Like, I think that movie, and that's why I did it, because I had no idea about these women. I didn't know.
Yeah, none of us did.
I didn't know it was their calculations, their genius that got us into space. I mean, if they were off by 1 decimal, we wouldn't have made it. Somebody probably would have lost a life. And so that needs to be taught. I think it's important to encourage, especially women of color, black girls, into STEM and into, science and technology and engineering and the arts and math, all of that. I think it's important. We need more. We need more of us in that area.
You heard it from Janelle Monáe, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You're the best.
It was a pleasure to talk to you.
I love your whole spirit and everything.
I love this vibe.
She's so soft spoken.
This is great.
Now the room is different.
The room is just different right now.
Namaste.
I love y'all. Y'all are so cool. Y'all are cool, man. Good people. Please.